welcome to the video. I've missed you. I've been gone for the last 2 weeks. I went back home to visit my mom in Nigeria, my family. And by the way, this was the longest single flight segment that I've ever taken, was to go from here to San Francisco, then from San Francisco to Doha, which is Qatar. And that was a 16.5-hour flight. I've never been on a flight that long. In fact, I did not know that planes could travel for that long. It was the most excruciating experience that I've ever had, just sitting there by myself. Even though I was originally traveling with my friend Nick, but Nick had some trouble in San Francisco with his visa, and so he had to take a detour through Washington. So that left me on this journey by myself for a few days. My friend Nick is about as white as a white person could come. When you talk about lily white, you're talking about Nick. The way Nick and I became friends is that Nick went to law school with my dad. My dad, one of the last things that he did before he passed was that he wanted to be a lawyer for me. So he went to law school and he graduated and he passed, but he was the oldest student in the program. I feel very ashy, like I need to put some lotion on. I'll be right back. The last thing he did before he passed was that he went to law school, and in the program he was the oldest, and so obviously all of his friends would have been, for the most part, most of his friends would have been in their 30s and things like that. So Nick was basically one of the friends that he essentially connected with, and Nick is a very, very smart young man. Anyway, so they became friends. My dad did bring Nick to Nigeria 12 years ago, and showed him as much as he probably could at the time. But in my opinion, I felt like it was just a bunch of old people stuff that he showed him. And I really wanted Nick to see a different experience of Nigeria, especially 12 years. Like, there was so much advancement in the last 12 years. So much technology, so much has changed, infrastructure, so I really wanted Nick to have this experience.
And I feel like I'm just in a totally new country. I don't recognize any of this. This is awesome.
Huh?
I feel like I'm in a totally new country. I don't remember any of this. This is awesome.
Oh, compared to last time?
Yeah. I saw like parking lots with solar panels on it. It just feels like California, honestly. I feel like I'm in the OC right now.
We have to ease you in,
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. It's like when your dad brings someone to visit and everyone gets to meet that person, and then here's that person again, but this time with the son. It's kind of a powerful full circle moment. For me, that was exciting. I really wanted to do it, and Nick has been a good friend to me. He's been lawyering for me for no additional fees, and I felt like it was just a good way to pay him back for all of the help that he's given to me in the last few years. I brought Nick to Nigeria, and Nick was just so flabbergasted by every single thing. Nick was like, oh my God, I did not know that there were parking lots here. Oh my God, I did not realize that there were Ubers here. Oh my God, it's just so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so clean.
You've LinkedIn? I'm from Las Vegas, yeah. So there'll be some Las Vegas here. Yeah, for sure.
Ladies first. There you go.
Yeah, it smells really good. Thank you.
Nick's first time eating pounded yam and white soup. This is not exactly white soup, but it's basically the same thing.
It's whatever they got in the kitchen.
Yeah, but we didn't get it because you're white. It's just coincidental.
But we're in Lagos, so I think you're supposed to get fish here.
Yeah. Nick, you've forgotten you have to cut it,
yeah.
break it, and then have it at the tip of your, there you go. Yep.
It's good.
That's basically, so the yam that we had for breakfast the other day, that's what that is. It's just pounded.
You have to take the leaf.
Yeah.
Leaves? Okay.
Yes.
The leaves, this one.
And I just need a bigger piece because it's the only way I cannot be messy with this. Like a big old bow here. What type of leaves are these?
It's spinach.
Spinach.
Okay.
soup is very fun.
How do you feel? First thoughts.
It's really tasty.
It's really good.
I'm gonna taste like miso.
Like what?
Miso.
Miso soup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like the miso paste.
See how it's Chinese.
Mandarin, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna say,
No, they say, yeah, that's what.
But hold on, we're trying to get Nick to dance.
Nick, you ain't
Nick, you need to be
dancing.
dancing to Afrobeat.
I only know the silly dances, like the Afrobeat's
No, you just be
Then American
No, don't do that, Nick.
Nick, don't do that. Don't do that.
Nick.
Nick, how do you have so many friends?
yeah, come.
Yes.
We love you,
The man them do inconsiderate, 5-star hotel smoking cigarette, mixing codeine up with the Finnegan. She got thinking she wanna get fit again, drinking apple cider vinegar, wearing sneakers, she wanna be feminine. Alright, I know that your back's for acting innocent. We ain't got generational wealth, it's only the year that I'm at these millions. I went to the bin and the dope don't drink the price of your wrist. I went with the dough, your IRS and your wrist, they have to do instead of doing. This girl will make
Nick, the younger kids bow to you, you don't bow to them. Okay? Yeah.
It's fine.
You're not going to ask what you're eating.
I've already eaten this before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Fufu, and then
That's
I
not
forgot the
fufu.
soup
That's
name,
called
yeah.
Gary.
Gary.
Yeah.
What's this called?
This is Gary. This is called afang soup.
Soup.
No, I'm going to wash hand.
This is cassava root, right?
Cassava, yes.
Yeah.
Use one hand. Take the whole thing and you just mush it. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's fish. How do you feel?
Yeah, super good.
Like this, 2 fingers. And then take your thumb and just
What's the big ass piece here?
the meat you eat separately. No.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, what have you learned?
38% of all slaves came from this area.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so nuts. Almost 2 in 5 slaves came from Calabar.
Yeah. It's not necessarily that they came from Calabar, but
They were
they
sold here,
went
yeah,
through. Yeah,
for
they
sure.
went through here,
It was like the reverse Ellis Island.
and they went through this port because
Yeah.
this leads outward. You know, out into the Atlantic through an estuary.
Yeah,
Have you heard of that term?
that's like
where
the
the-
holding area.
Where the river meets the ocean. And so it begins. So it begins. Nick is about to witness animal slaughters for food for the very first time. He's not excited.
I saw one last time.
Morning. He's not excited.
These poor geese, I guess. For tomorrow's meals.
So the goose is tomorrow's meal. The river of blood.
Whoa. Definitely do not want to fall in there. As horrifying as it was, you come here and it smells delicious.
It does indeed smell delicious.
It is right there, yeah.
Huh?
You see, back around 7 o'clock. Okay.
Mai dong man yin na. Mai dong man yin.
Because very early, 7 after 7. Okay.
I was like, Nick, you got to start realizing that Africans are clean. Unfortunately, the media only shows you the part that helps to tell their stories and helps to, you know, tug at your heartstrings, but it's not really showing you the reality of day-to-day life, because it is quite beautiful. There are many people who are well off. There are many people who have a very normal, you know, quote unquote comparable lifestyle to what you would assume to be a normal day-to-day life in, let's say, in a Western country. You know, so those were some of the things that I felt like it was important for Nick to see and to help kind of sway his understanding of the country in general. To balance it out, of course, I took him to the rural areas as well, just to make sure that he also had this balanced view. And of course, the first thing Nick does is, oh my God, how can we help everyone? I really want to meet the governor. I really want to see if there's something we can do and set up programs and this and this, this and that and that. And I was like, Nick.
How are you? Free to be here with us.
We've been sitting all day. I want to sit.
Very good, welcome. Americana.
That's very nice.
There are some old cities like that too, other places.
How old?
Eh?
How old? Like hundreds of years?
It should be over more than 200 years.
Oh wow. Nice.
More than 200 years. Although most of the young people have gone out to build, but the elders are still
Yeah.
Makara, always say they know of your
They said you should drink. She said drink the drink so you can give her back the
Okay,
bottle.
sorry.
You must speak Kalam Efik before you go back.
Why wouldn't you mind me?
You can't just meet the governor and then.
America. I'm sure we can figure out a way to help the community out.
What's there to help? This is just life.
No. We could figure out like, I don't know, figure out for investment, open that shit up.
Are you
Website.
planning on coming to live here?
No, but I'm sure I can find people who
You're not
would.
going to find someone to do anything better than you would do it if you lived here. And if you don't live here, and you're not going to start any successful projects.
Alright.
So it's nice and noble,
Like,
but the people are happy with all the different versions of life that there are. As you see, rich or poor, everyone's happy and everyone's laughing, and so there's nothing specifically to help. One
sure.
person can try their best, but if the
No, yeah.
if the government is not willing to do anything about anything,
well, they're willing
Then-
to clean it up. So
Huh?
They're willing to clean it up.
I know, but we're clean people.
But then there's like the waste management. Where does it go from there? Is it just go to landfill? If there's like, imports people here want. If, like your mom was talking about, like the Asian people living by the river, if you get them back.
You want to bring the Haitian people back.
Haitian or Asian?
Haitian.
Like from the island?
Haitian, like Haitian, Jamaican.
Yeah, from the island. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said Asian, like Chinese people.
No.
There are rich people, there are poor people. Not everybody who is poor is going to get help. Not everyone is requiring help. Some people just live this lifestyle. For some people, this is just life. And you can see that they're happy people. You can see that they're smiling. You can see that no one is frustrated by the conditions that they've been faced with. And so, to some degree, you know, it was also nice, I think, for him to just see that. We went to the zoo, we spent a fair amount of time there. We went to this place that used to be the place to be in Calabar. Calabar is my hometown. Calabar is in Cross River State. Back in the days, like when I was growing up, you could literally leave stuff in your car and keep the windows wound down and come back and that thing would still be there. It was literally that safe. It was probably the best city in the whole country, and I'm not saying that because I'm from there, it's just, it was the truth. And then we had a governor for 8 years who ruined everything and almost brought the whole city crumbling to the ground. But we've had a new governor now who's really, really trying to look good. And so he's doing a lot of things to bring the city back to its previous glory. And I commend him for that because this is a very enthralling experience this time around. Anyway, back to Nick. There was something that I kept telling Nick that he needs to understand, is that no one can understand him speaking like a Californian white man. And so he needs to slow his words down and he needs to enunciate and pronounce every single word. I said, Nick, you see how we say water? We don't say water. If you're saying water to people, no one's going to understand what you're asking for, and they're going to be asking me, can you tell me what he said? It's like, yeah, we're both speaking English, but our English is not the same English. Your English is not Englishing with these people, so you need to start slowing down. But Nick, no. Nick just speaks like a Californian. And it was both funny and kind of annoying because I was like, Nick, you need to chill. You need to stop speaking so fast. You need to stop connecting all of your words, and you need to start saying things slowly so that people can understand what you're saying. We learned the Queen's English. We're gonna get to you in a second. Don't worry, I have my beef. I do have a non-official non-profit. It's not registered, it's just one man trying his best to do what he can for his community. And it was nice also for me to be able to take Nick to visit the students. It's a school for special needs students, and one of my kids that I've been supporting for the last few years, his name is David. He's mute, he is also deaf, and he lost his parents a little while ago, and so I tried to help him find a school, and I found this school. And then I realized there were a few other students who definitely needed help. So every year I kind of like save up a bunch of money, and then I go through and I buy some supplies, distribute to the students and the teachers, and try to pay some school fees and things like that. We had this experience with Nick, so I took Nick to visit, and you know, it was a really touching moment because that's something that I've been doing on my own, and it was nice to finally have someone else kind of distributing things with me and sort of, you know, just coming in and just being a part of it. So that was really nice.
Yes. Don't lose your hope. Maybe you can be helpful members of the community for other children that are like you. But I hope that you understand that you're very special and unique children, and God loves you, and I care about you, and I hope very much that you all succeed.
Since I came back, the jet lag has been kicking me in the butt. I have been awake all night long. I've been sleeping from like 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. I've just been in bed the whole time, just being lazy, and it's very unlike me. I knew that when I came back that I was going to have to do some work. I asked Capri to do a sit. Capri stared at me like, what's a sit? I said, do a left heel. She stared at me like, what's a left heel? I'm like, left heel is the default thing that you know how to, you've never not known how to do a left heel. And she's staring at me just like, is this a left heel? Like, nah, dog, that's not a left heel, okay? So that was kind of frustrating, but I also knew that was coming. Like, this is not the first time. Every time I travel for 2 weeks, last time I traveled for a month when I came back, it was the worst thing. It took me like 3 weeks to retrain her to get her back to, but that's the beauty of it, is that when you have a good foundation, regardless of what happens, you know, there's just some things that if you don't use them for a while, the dog will lose it. But part of the fun of my dog ownership and my relationship with Capri is going through that process over again and trying to retrain her and trying to reteach her all of the things that I've taught her. And she obviously will pick it up very quickly. I hate that people don't realize that your dog will literally lose things if you don't continue to practice. And I get a lot of people online who say things like, why do you keep training her? She's already trained. Why won't you just let her be a dog? And I'm like, no, being a dog and being part of this household means that this is the relationship that we have together, and this is why she's such a great dog, is because we're constantly working. You have to constantly train your dog. There's no such thing as the dog is already trained, so you just like do nothing. You know, if you do nothing, even the most well-trained dog will lose to some degree a lot of their training, and they will become terrible dogs. So anyway, that's where we're at. I'm just unpacking and getting some things kind of put back to where they were supposed to be. I'm gonna finish packing up, and then we're going to go outside and train. It is Sunday morning. There's no rain pouring. Uh-oh, she heard me singing. Hello, puppy. Do you know that this year you're going to be 4? And she kind of smells. Capri, you kind of stink a bit. I think that too much time has gone where you haven't been bathed. We need to give you a bath and brush your teeth probably. Alright, well, I need to finish packing, so I don't know. Essentially, every time she hears this, she comes towards it because she thinks that this means that we're about to play tug or we're about to play fetch or something. We always played around this very loud sound. So you can see that now, many years have passed since that video was posted probably. I don't remember when I posted the video, but many years have passed essentially, and now she's so comfortable with the sound that she's actually thinking that, oh, this is playtime. Playtime! She thinks it's playtime. Capri likes to play fetch, so every time I play fetch, I go and I throw it. Here. And she brings it to me, turn it on again, throw it. So then she starts thinking, oh, every time I hear this sound, that must mean something is about to get thrown. So when you have a dog that loves playing fetch, or that really loves taking food or a treat or something, affection, playtime, you can really make the associations to the things that they would normally be afraid of. So yeah, it's just an easy, simple way, especially when they're younger, to kind of get rid of their fears of sound and fears of machinery and fears of, you know, these sorts of things. And also, it's good to prepare them for the groomers, because this is something that many dogs have issues with when they go to get groomed, and they start freaking out and peeing and pooping everywhere because they don't like this. So. And now I have to give her a bath. I haven't brushed Capri's teeth in about 2 weeks. From time to time, I just like to give her one of these frozen chicken drums, sorry. I just let her chew on it. The problem is usually the fact that it's frozen. Not sure if you can believe this, but most of the time, Capri is not chewing on anything. She doesn't have toys that she ruins. I don't give her anything to chew on, no bones, nothing like that. She has just gotten used to doing nothing, and nothing being the standard of operation. So even if I left here for 8 hours, she would literally stay here until I came back. I think that a lot of times when we give dogs toys and we give them things to chew on when they're young, they develop that habit of needing to chew on stuff, and then we as humans, we go buy more things thinking that we need to make sure that our dogs are active. And for me, that seems kind of lazy in some regard, because, you know, I think of our day-to-day interactions, and I think You know, I take her out every morning, we go hiking, we go biking, we go running. She's actively involved in parts of my day, and I'm rewarding her for those things and trying to sort of challenge her in those moments. So she has so much mental stimulation and fulfillment in her day-to-day life that I don't really think that she needs to chew on stuff when I'm busy. And so I think that that perhaps is the trade-off. The fact that, you know, the dog still gets what they need from your interactions with them in day-to-day life, so then you don't have to give them things to keep them occupied. And you know, many dogs will learn to do nothing if they're used to doing nothing. So, you know, that's just always been my take on toys. I feel like the toy industry, to some degree, you know, is banking on the fact that you're busy, the fact that you're not going to be paying as much attention to your dog, the fact that you have a life to live. These are all normal things that, you know, we go through as dog owners. And so that's why it makes sense that you would try to give your dog things to do to keep them mentally active. But, you know, again, like I said, it's just my personal thing. I've just always thought of it as a lazy way to keep your dog entertained by allowing them to get used to destroying things. I've never really seen a dog that destroys a toy who doesn't destroy something else in the house. You know, so to some degree, yes, it works, but it all depends on the owner. So take that or leave it. That's just my personal 2 cents. But yeah, from time to time I give her a bone and let her chew on it. I don't bother her when she's chewing on the bone. I just let her chew and let her do her own thing. From time to time, yes, I will just make sure, good girl, make sure that I can pet her while she's eating these things, and she knows that I'm not trying to take anything away from her. But that's just for me to make sure that we're still good, you know? But yeah, don't want separation anxiety. You don't want resource guarding. So for me, as much as I like having her moving around the house with me, it's also important that she learns to just stay here while I'm moving around, while I'm doing other stuff, so that, you know, there's a good balance. And so, like I said, when I leave, I can leave here for 8 hours. She's not really concerned because she's just used to being here, and she's used to doing nothing. She's not used to destroying anything. She's not used to chewing things to pieces. She's not used to breaking things apart. So that helps ultimately the relationship. Many people don't take the extra 2 seconds to make positive association to things that dogs might be feeling wary of in the house. And you just go through thinking everything's normal. You don't understand the impact the sound of the vacuum has on your dog. Your dog might not display it, right? They might act like everything's normal, but again, for me, just in day-to-day life, it's very important that I'm constantly and consistently making positive association to things. We've seen just how quickly dogs can digress. Even though a dog is well trained, even though a dog might feel comfortable with something for many years, one day they might just all of a sudden develop a fear of that thing. So just because the dog is trained doesn't mean that you need to stop training. In fact, for me, I just always think that my dog needs more training. And so I'm constantly trying to make sure that there's positive association being made to regular day-to-day life. So that's why I'm making this video, to show you guys that even when you think that nothing's going on, when you're just going through a normal day, when you're cleaning, when you've just come back from a trip and things seem mundane, within that is still training that needs to happen. So of course this is not something I'm going to do every single time, but from time to time, consistently, maybe once a week, she just has something to look forward to. So she's starting to think, oh, maybe I will get it this time. Maybe I'll get it this time. And then she gets it. And then she doesn't get it for a while, but she's thinking, oh, maybe I'll get it this time. So her brain is occupied with that thought that she's going to get it at some point. So then she's thinking of that and the positivity that comes with the possibility. And so she's not so much concerned with the actual sound and the actual fear that could kind of come about if you just did nothing. So I'm going to turn it on for a second. Bring her some food. Bring her some food. If you can believe this, my dog has forgotten the most basic command, sit. So this is what we're working on right now, it's just sit. Now, what you're going to find is uncertainty. Whenever I give her the sit command, she knows the command very well. Obviously, every dog knows sit, hopefully.